Don't lose money and protect the money you make from future losses. Easier said than done? Nope. Stay with me here in this educational episode. I'm going to reveal why safety of your principal is so critical when you're setting aside serious cash for long-term goals like retirement, college funding for your kids and grandkids, maybe working capital for your business or real estate. This is critical to have safety of your principal. So I'm Doug Andrew, and I've been a financial strategist and retirement planning specialist now for just under 5 decades. I'm turning 71 here in just a few weeks. And so I started in 1974, and my favorite financial vehicle, without question, is a properly structured, maximum funded, indexed universal life insurance contract where I can accumulate my money tax-free. I can generate tax-free income. Even if I live to be 120, $1 million nest egg can generate $100,000 a year of tax-free income, a 10% payout if I live to be 120 years old. You cannot accomplish that same type of performance in most investments in America, IRAs or 401ks invested in the market. Dalbar says most retirees only earn about 3.5% with their money in the market. And they usually are timing it wrong. And so when the market starts to go down, and their retirement nest egg is dwindling in value, 20, 25, 30% down, they go enough already and they sell low. And then they wait, and they buy high. And so their average return is only about 3.5%. This is what precipitated the 4% rule in the financial services industry. They only want you to pull out 4% a year so that you won't sue them for you outliving your money. To me, that's unacceptable. So my favorite vehicle for this is a properly structured indexed universal life insurance contract. And it's where I have averaged 9.62% return since 1980, when E.F. Hutton was the first brainchild that came up with this idea. But then 17 years later in 1997, because interest rates started to come down, they introduced indexing. And now I've averaged 11.17% by using indexing, diversification, and rebalancing. If you have all three of those, maybe you'll be able to earn, like I have, 11 and net 10% cash on cash, tax-free rate of return that allows me on every $1 million to generate $100,000 a year of tax-free income without depleting principal, which is way more than pulling out 4% out of an IRA or 401k portfolio. That's $40,000 on $1 million nest egg, and then you have to pay tax. Even in a 25% tax bracket, you're only netting 3% or $30,000. That's pathetic. So let's talk about safety, because a lot of people are concerned about this since the recent bank failures. So you want to use financial institutions that are rated safe by the various rating agencies like Standard & Poor's and Moody's and Weiss and what have you. And so I like to put my money in the institutions that are ranked over 90 on the Comdex score, which combines all of these rating agencies, so that they are more safe than 90% of companies out there. Yes, that's important, safety of the institution, but also safety of principal. I want my money in institutions that would be the last domino to fall in the event of a total financial collapse in this country, because then it wouldn't matter if I had my money, the American dollar would be worthless. But safety of principal means this. Whenever I set aside, $500 a month, $1,000 a month, $10,000, $1 million, I do not want to put that at risk. I don't want to lose my principal that I set aside in an investment. When you put your money in the market, you could lose 20, 30, 40%, right? No, I don't want to lose when the market goes down. I may not make much of anything when the market goes down, but I don't lose. That's called indexing. You're able to participate when the market goes up, but you don't lose when the market goes down because your money is not invested in the market. It's safely tucked in the insurance company, earning the general account portfolio rate, let's say, of 5%. In a year you feel bearish about America, you can just accept the 5% on your million. That year you could make $50,000 tax-free, okay? But in a year you feel bullish about America, you can just tell the insurance company, hey, take the $50,000 of interest on my million, in this example, and buy upside options in the index or indices that I choose that you offer. And so they buy upside options in the S&P, let's say. So if the S&P goes up 10% or 12%, they'll pay me $100,000 or $120,000 on my million. But if the market crashes, I don't lose my million. I simply relinquish the interest on my million that year, but I still have my million because my money is not invested in the market. Does that make sense? And so this is why I love it when I have my money in an indexing strategy, because when everybody else is panicking and the market goes down and loses, zero is my hero. I don't make anything, but I don't lose anything. Zero is my hero, where a lot of people, they lose 20, 30, 40%, and it takes 3 or 4 years to make back what they lost. This is what happened in the Great Recession twice. After 12 years, people barely got back to break even. So you want to not lose when the market goes down. I don't care if the real estate market goes down. I do not lose when the real estate market plummets, because I don't keep my money trapped in equity in my real estate. I keep all of that money in the positive cash flow safely tucked in insurance contracts where it's liquid and safe and it's earning a rate of return, let's say averaging just 9% tax-free, and the net cost of my mortgages that I borrow at 4.5% tax-deductible interest is only 3%. If I have $1 million of mortgages at 4.5% interest, that's $45,000 a year. I get to write that off. And so in a 33% bracket, it saves me 33% of $45,000 of interest. It saves me $15,000. So that I get that back at a refund, okay? Actual tax savings. And so that means the net cost of a 4.5% mortgage is 3%. Of a 6% tax deductible mortgage, the net cost is 4%. Well, if I'm paying a net of 3%, $30,000 on every million, but I'm making $90,000 in my insurance contract, that is 300% more than the cost of that. Would you hire an employee for $30,000 that made you an extra $90,000? I'd do that all day long. That's a 300% return on employment cost. People who understand how money works understand this concept. And so this is why you want to protect your money from losses and protect the principal. Safety of principal is so critical. You want to make sure the money you set aside is protected from loss. I use indexing to do that. Number 2, in a year that I make money, okay, you want that to become newly protected principal. For example, I have a business owner who invests in real estate, commercial real estate. And in 2017, he needed to borrow $1 million out of his policy. Now, he could have withdrawn $1 million, but no, he's smart. He borrowed $1 million because you don't even have to qualify for a loan from the insurance company. If you have $1 million sitting in an insurance policy there, the insurance company will loan you the equivalent of how much money you have on deposit there. And so they loan $1 million because they're using his $1 million of cash value as collateral. Why did he do that? Why did he borrow? Here's why. Because he said, you know what? I could borrow at 2% and you'll credit me 2%, but you can charge me 5% on my $1 million. That's $50,000. And I want my $1 million to stay in there and earn whatever the index rate is. That year in 2017, he earned 25%. He capped out at 25%. On his $1 million, in the insurance company that he didn't technically withdraw, he made $250,000 minus the $50,000 of interest. He netted 20% or $200,000 tax-free on his $1 million while he was technically using it in his business to buy an apartment complex and flip it and make $3 million. Now, if this went over your head, you need to listen and rewind this again, because this is how money works. So you use indexing to protect yourself. If the market goes down, you don't lose. You don't make much of anything, but you don't lose. See, our clients in 2008 were cheering, go, go, because they weren't losing a dime. And the first 90 days of 2009, most of our clients locked in gains of 16% tax-free. On $1 million, they made $160,000 in 2009 after not losing a penny in 2008. They just picked up where they left off. They locked in that gain. My client who made $250,000 in 2017, or people in 2009 that made 16%, they locked in that gain so that if the next year the market crashed 40%, They may not have made anything the next year, but they didn't lose the 160,000 or the 250,000 they made the year before, because every year the gain is locked in. This is protecting the principal. Any year you make money is newly protected principal. That's why in this episode, I'm talking about safety of principal is so critical, but it's not just the money you started with. You want to protect the original principal you invested, but it's much more than that. You want to protect your principal so that every year, anything you make, any year you make money, that new money you made becomes newly protected principal, so you don't lose in future years the money you made in previous years. Do you know most financial advisors get a deer in the headlight look when I explain that? Because they're never taught how to do that. They're taught to tell you, oh, just hang in there. The market always comes back. It may take 3 or 4 years, but the market comes back. No, my clients don't worry. They can sleep when the market goes down because they're not losing. And as Will Rogers once said, people get more concerned about the return of their money instead of the return on their money when things get bad. Now, I'm not a doomsdayer, but I am a realist, and I think we're headed for some other bank failures. We're going to see some recessions. We're going to see real estate drop as much as 40% in value. And anytime that happens, I do not lose because my money is not tied up in the real estate. My money is not sitting in some bank or credit union. I have my serious cash safely tucked in a max-funded indexed universal life insurance contract in the multi-trillion-dollar legal reserve insurance industry, which is the backbone of America and the backbone of the world. It's the last domino that would fall if we had a total financial collapse in this country. I would have plenty of forewarning because the banks would be failing. Real estate would be dropping in value 60 and 70 and 80%. I could get my money, but what would I do with it? If it gets that bad, it would be the last domino to fall, but you can't eat gold and silver. That's not the answer. We would be bartering, and you better have some food and some goods and services that people want that you barter with if it got that bad. So people are always saying, well, where can I protect my money so that I never, ever, ever lose no matter what happens to the American dollar? There is nowhere to do that because you have to have some kind of a system, a currency system. If there is none, then you go back to bartering like they used to do, okay? Where an ounce of gold was good for a tunic, a set of clothing back at the time of Christ. Well, gold and silver just barely keeps up with inflation. Today, you can buy a nice tailor-made suit of clothes, a nice suit, for the value of an ounce of gold. That just keeps up with inflation. It doesn't outpace inflation. Indexing, I've always earned a rate of return of at least 5% greater than the inflation rate at the time. So if you want to learn more about this, I would strongly recommend that you study, read about what I do with my serious cash and use indexing. And this book is my 11th book. It's been flying off of the warehouse shelves. And we send out about 500 of these a week. And it retails on Amazon for $20, plus you pay close to $10 shipping and handling. I will pay for the book. If you simply go to laserfund.com, laserfund.com, or click on the link below, you contribute a nominal amount toward the shipping and handling, and I'll cover the rest of that cost. I'll pay for the book. I will fire out a hard copy to you via priority mail. And while you're in there claiming your free copy, if you like to listen and learn or watch and learn, check out those options. We teach educational webinars on a regular basis. They're free. You can even schedule an appointment to talk to an IUL specialist that I've trained, that I oversee, so that you can see how this is done correctly and how it may apply in your particular set of circumstances. But this is not about me. This is about you and your brighter future. But start by claiming your free copy of the Laser Fund book now.